From the Post-Millennial, breaking SAVE Act paired with spending package fails to pass the House. I don't think anyone's going to surprise to hear several Republicans sided with the Democrats to knock this down, because the whole thing is a game. There's very few members of Congress who actually want to do anything. It's a game. We had, I can't remember which rep it was, but it was Freedom Caucus, and he talked about how the Republicans had the votes to overturn Obamacare. And Republican leadership went to him and said, no, vote against getting rid of Obamacare. We need the wedge issue. They never had any intention of overturning any of these things. They didn't care. They say on Wednesday, the SAVE Act, paired with a stopgap government funding package, was voted down 202 yeas, ayes or whatever, to 220 nays. This comes as illegal immigration and border security combined with concerns over voter fraud has been raised in the country. The Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, paired with the stopgap, has been a move that House Speaker Mike Johnson as well as Trump have supported in recent weeks. On Wednesday, the package paired with the SAVE Act did not pass the House. The act would prevent non-citizens from voting by requiring that Americans provide proof of citizenship to register to vote. I'm going to tell you what I think. There is no way that 14 Republicans could get away with breaking from Donald Trump and the Speaker. If Mike Johnson goes to the Republican and says, you're voting this way or you're going to lose your committees, I mean, this is, in my opinion, planned. I would more likely to believe that Mike Johnson comes out publicly and says, we're going to do this. This is what we have to do, convincing everybody that's the plan. Then he goes to a handful of Republicans and says, just vote with the Democrats so that this doesn't actually go anywhere. We're going to pretend like we care. You guys are in swing districts. You'll pretend to be bipartisan. Siding with the Democrats looks good for your reelection. And then we don't have to actually do it. That's what I think happened.
The Republicans who said no, though, I think are some of the most MAGA ones who did. It wasn't the swing district ones. It was it was the Boberts. 2 people voted present. That was Massey and Green. But
you're right. Actually, is the good ones who voted against it. My bad.
The point is, shame on Speaker Mike Johnson for someone who wants to stand up there and say that the reason that we need to pass the SAVE Act right now, which, by the way, even if you were to pass it, it would come into effect way too late. Mail-in ballots have already started going out. If he cared so much about election integrity, it should have been his first move when he was Speaker. Second of all, if policy writers work, right, attaching bills onto other bills, in this case a CR, then they should have done it with H.R. 1. Right, low cost energy act, HR 2, actually securing the border. Why didn't they do that on any of the 5 CRs that they've pushed through? And most importantly, Joe Biden has come out and said, hands down, I will veto the SAVE Act. And the Senate said that they would strip it from the CR anyways. So all of the people who voted saying no were on the right side of history, I would argue, because the SAVE Act was going to get stripped from it anyways.
It wasn't going anywhere in the first place.
It wasn't going anywhere. And the real...
That makes more sense, honestly.
The disgusting part from Speaker Mike Johnson is that they have cheapened the issue of election integrity and cheapened the SAVE Act, which, by the way, we passed in July. It's been sitting in the Senate. They could have held a vote on it. Could have been signed into law by Joe Biden if they actually cared about non-citizens voting, right, in the same breath while they're lecturing us on foreign election interference. But they're dangling it like a shiny toy, a shiny object to try to pressure those 14 members in the Republican Party from a messaging perspective to be able to say, oh, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? You don't care about election integrity. You're not voting for the SAVE Act. And frankly, the Trump statement that he put out, I would argue it's the brilliance of Donald Trump, but it can sort of be read both ways because he says, I don't want anything happening. We need to pass the SAVE Act. It's the SAVE Act. He didn't express support for the CR. Right? And the SAVE Act can be passed independently. It is the false promise and pretense that Speaker Johnson said that is that you have to attach it to the CR. You don't. Let alone wanting to fund the same damn government that just almost got President Trump killed again, whether it's the Secret Service or the same DHS that's coming after, or rather busing migrants in, coming after you guys, right? So it's absolutely absurd. And this is more of the BS same that, of course, the war room is always covering and our audience is always burning down the phone lines, metaphorically.